What's good? It's your boy Fanon. I'm going to talk in this video about Gervonta Tank Davis. And for the first time, definitely not the only time, I'm going to make a video which I got to say I'm really happy with some decisions that Gervonta Davis has made. I've been very critical of Gervonta Davis in the past around things that he said, things that he's done outside the ring. But I got to say, man, I think that he's really, at the right time in his career, made a very good decision in changing trainers. Not that I have anything against Calvin Ford, who was his previous trainer. I think the guy's done a tremendous amount with boxing in Baltimore from what I see from a distance. I just think that Gervonta Davis making a change to Kevin Cunningham and getting out of Baltimore and training down in Florida, I think is a great thing. And I do believe with what Kevin Cunningham is saying about what's going on with Gervonta Davis. And before I get into that, first, I'm definitely going to have a live stream later on today. And the best way to know about the live streams are to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon. That way you can get notified of when they happen. We have a very mature, very active group of people that come regularly to the chats, and I think that it's an enjoyable experience for people. So if you hit the bell icon, then you'll know when they happen, because I don't schedule them on a regular scheduled basis. Now that said, let me go into what his trainer says about him, and then give you my thoughts on why I think this is a really good sign for Gervonta Davis. And honestly, it's something that might catapult Gervonta Davis into being one of the best fighters in the world. And no small part of that is Kevin Cunningham and now the camp that Gervonta Davis is working in. Trainer expects career best performance from Gervonta Davis. A lot has been said about four-time champion Adrian Bronner bringing in world-class trainer Kevin Cunningham for his April 21st showdown against former two-division champion Jesse Vargas. The bout headlines a Showtime card that will take place at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Unbeaten former lightweight champion Gervonta Tank Davis will also fight on a televised undercard against former featherweight title holder Jesus Cellular. Davis, who had previously trained under the guidance of Calvin Ford, is also at the Camp Cunningham gym in West Palm Beach, Florida, alongside Bronner. According to Cunningham, who is best known for his work with former champions Corey Spinks and Devin Alexander, they are both in tremendous shape at what is now about the halfway point of their respective training camps. Adrian Bronner and Gervonta Davis are both having the best training camps of their career. AB and Tank will be mean, lean fighting machines on April 21st, Cunningham told BoxingScene.com. After having two solid wins to start in the start of 2017 with knockouts of Jose Petraza to capture the IBF 130-pound title and Liam Walsh mandatory defense in the UK, Davis imploded in his third and final fight of the year. In August, the unbeaten boxer lost his IBF super featherweight belt prior to a successful title defense against Francesco Fonseca when he failed to make the 130-pound weight limit for the high-profile encounter. The fight took place on the Floyd Mayweather-Conor McGregor pay-per-view undercard at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas. While Davis did not appear to be at his best in the last outing, Cunningham expects the 23-year-old to put on the best performance of his career. I guarantee it, said Cunningham. This kid has a perfect blend of talent, speed, and power. Now, I'm telling you, man, I'm excited. People had asked me in the live streams what I thought about Adrian Bronner, switching trainers from Mike Stafford to Kevin Cunningham. And, my thoughts on that is that, if there's a way that Adrian Bronner can come back and get back, can get his career in the right track and make the changes that he needs to in order to utilize his talent, because Adrian Bronner, without a doubt, is one of the most talented fighters in boxing, in my opinion. But he needs to fine tune his skills. He needs to learn how to counter the approach that's currently being used to beat him. And I think it's also important that he really stays in good shape and stays at where he's comfortably inside of can make 140 pounds without draining himself during training camp and doing all the things necessary to get himself down into weight. Right. So if it's possible for Adrian Bronner to get his career back on the right track and maximize his potential, if that's possible, it'll be somebody like Kevin Cunningham that'll be able to do that. A new set of eyes, somebody that's been watching Adrian Bronner from the outside, somebody that has already, in my opinion, had two talented boxers in Corey Spinks and Devin Alexander, and taking them places beyond what he's added to their natural abilities and their skills and their talent. He, I believe, got as much out of Corey Spinks as there was to get out of Corey Spinks. If you look at the way Devin Alexander looked in that draw, the controversial draw, the last fight he had against Victor Ortiz, and how good he looked against Victor Ortiz, the fact that he had Devin Alexander earlier in his career had beaten Marcus Maidana, somebody that is a very difficult opponent for a lot of people. In my opinion, he got the most out of Devin Alexander's talent, and the most out of Corey Spinks' talent. So if you then give him somebody like an Adrian Bronner and see if he's able to do that with Adrian Bronner, there's good things for Adrian Bronner. But unlike Gervonta Davis, Adrian Bronner is in the latter parts of his career. Gervonta Davis is still in the early part of his career. He's still developing. He still can gain an experience, and despite having lost his belt on the despite the fact that he had lost his title on the scales, I mean, he's still undefeated. He's still knocked out. I can't remember his record off the top of my head, but he had 3 undefeated fighters last year since he won the IBF title. He beat all 3 of them, and the only issues that Gervonta Davis has is outside the ring. I haven't seen anything inside the ring that tells me that this kid, is at risk of losing to just normal competition in the ring. Even with Fonseca, he didn't get it took him a little while to figure out Francisco Fonseca, but eventually he did. I know people said something about, him having hit the kid on the back of the head or being an illegal punch or what have you. But hey, man, this is boxing. It wasn't called an illegal punch. At the end of the day, he knocked the dude out. He does tend to act a little, immature in the ring, in my opinion, with, jumping over, a lot of antics after he knocked the guy out. For me, none of that stuff's necessarily a good show. But at the same time, it's not a bad one either. I mean, if that's his personality, that's his personality. But the only real issues that Gervonta Davis has had have been outside the ring. Inside the ring, in my opinion, this dude is a monster. If he had the ability to stay at 130 pounds and he can make 130 pounds comfortably, I favor him at anybody at 130 pounds right now. I think he beats Burchelt. I think he beats Machado. Tevin Farmer, that'll be a fun fight while it lasts. But I don't think Tevin Farmer has a lot to keep him off of him. But the biggest issue with Gervonta Davis, similar to Adrian Bronner, is discipline. But if kept with a new set of eyes, and honestly, even them working in the camp together, even with those guys working in the camp together, the simple fact that the camp that Gervonta Davis is going to be able to be in really helps Gervonta Davis. I think it helps Gervonta Davis just obviously from the outside looking in. It helps Gervonta Davis more than it might help Adrian Bronner. but it might help Adrian Bronner as well. But from the point of view of Gervonta Davis, sparring against against Adrian Bronner, somebody that's significantly bigger than him, somebody that has a good amount of pop on his punches, somebody that has a lot of experience in world-class fight in championship fights, and who is a world-class guy to train with on a day-to-day basis. That can only, if he's competing, if they are competing against each other every day in practice, and Devin Alexander, who's also like one's at 147, the other one's at 140, you got one at 130, and all three of them have a lot of speed. Devin Alexander has a lot of speed. He's very crafty, very experienced. Those two guys together, especially having gone through some of the things that they've gone through, like Devin Alexander, having gone through the issue he's had with his with the painkillers and having to take a long time out of fighting to get over that, right? But to get over that, I mean, just his willpower and his ability to accept that he had a problem, address the problem, admit that he has a problem, has to be, if Gervonta Davis is open-minded and looking at him, has to be an example right in his face of a road that he doesn't want to go down. And in comparison, like his problems and the things that he has to overcome compared to what Devin Alexander had to overcome, that's nothing. Because what Gervonta Davis has to overcome is nothing. That's making weight. Making weight, not getting in fights, not getting in arguments with your brother, not tweeting out not tweeting dumb shit, Those are little problems. Those are little problems that can easily be overcome just with his making up his mind that, hey man, I'm gonna learn from my experience. I'm not going to eat this. I'm not going to eat that. I'm going to make sure I get up in the morning. Even if I'm not training, I'm going to get up and I'm going to run 5 miles. I'm going to run 6 miles, and I'm going to make sure that my body weight, I'm no more than a certain amount of weight away from my fight weight at any point in time. If he just adopts that is much easier to do than what Devin Alexander had to do. And Devin Alexander had to overcome an opioid addiction. And for people that don't know, might not necessarily think what that means. In the 1940s, there's so many people in the 1930s, 1940s, 1950s. Charlie Parker, Miles, Charlie Parker, the jazz musician, being the one that stands out most to me. Where you have people that are dying, that died of those, from taking bumps, right? Heroin addictions, right? That's what those pills are. I mean, they're not the exact same, but it's an opioid. Opioid means opium. And pretty much when they're taking those pills, and that's just, it's not intravenous, but that's why these people are getting those crazy addictions to that stuff. Because it's highly, highly addictive medicine. And to overcome that type of impediment speaks volumes for Devin Alexander. So Devin Alexander, not only does Kevin Cunningham, is he somebody that can really help along Gervonta Davis in the ring, right? Outside the ring. Gervonta Davis also has sparring and working out with guys that are not only have been in his situation. These guys have won been in the big fights. They've been in there against the top competition. They've all had downs. I mean, they've been up and they've been down. They know what Gervonta Davis is going through. They also know what Gervonta Davis will, what he has to do to reach his potential. So all of these things in this camp that I see with Kevin Cunningham, with Adrian Bronner, with Devin Alexander, all of these things, in my mind, bode very well for Gervonta Davis. Because Gervonta Davis, again, is the size the size and the speed of the people that are in the ring with him. The championship experience of the fighters that he's training with. The championship experience of the trainer that he's training with. Kevin Cunningham has trained multiple world champions. and the life experience of the people that are in the ring with him. It's everything this kid, I'm sure there's other things, but there's everything this kid could need. Because no day is going to be easy. He's not necessarily the biggest star he's not the biggest star in the gym. Adrian Bronner's the biggest star in the gym, right? So, I'm really agreeing with what Kevin Cunningham's assessment is, and I'm very, very happy to see this for Gervonta Davis. As far as what Gervonta Davis is capable of doing in this next fight, this guy's cellular is just he's moving up in weight, right? He's moving up in weight. I'm not sure how he got, I think it's the WBA. This might be I think it's for the WBA regular title. So it's not it is a title fight, a quote unquote title fight, but it's not for, like the major. It's not the WBA super. But that does put him in a situation where, he has a belt. He might be able to, be in a situation where he can get Machado and fight Machado. Maybe that's a situation where he can, where that can happen. But he's clearly on his way. And I don't think anybody at 130 pounds in a situation where you have a great trainer and you got great competition in the ring, which you are going to beat him very easily. And honestly, his camp to me is seeming like it's starting to look like the experience that Errol Spence Jr. has with Derek James and Jermell Charlo, where you have guys that are at that level, the level, that are all around about the same level, and who can push each other, who can challenge each other, who can be, like Errol Spence said, what is it, steel, sharpen steel, something like that. And it could be a good deal. Now, there's a lot of people saying, is one of the commentators, or excuse me, somebody left a message was said, what about Gervonta Davis and Ryan Garcia? Because Ryan Garcia, it could come to a head with Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis, and Lomachenko versus Gervonta Davis. If Lomachenko winds up at 135 pounds and Gervonta Davis stays, he's 23 years old. Eventually, he's going to move up to lightweight. Eventually, I would love to see that fight happen. But in order for that fight to happen, and even though I got another idea about eventually what's going to happen with Lomachenko, like, how people build up. This is towards the end of the video. I'm going to wrap it up on this. But when I saw Ryan Garcia and Golden Boy, I thought to myself, you know what? This kid's 19 years old, and Vasily Lomachenko's 30 years old. I would not be surprised at all if Ryan Garcia is the guy that takes out Lomachenko. I wouldn't be shocked at all. There's an 11-year age difference. 6 years from now, if Lomachenko's still fighting at 36 years old, and you have a 25-year-old Ryan Garcia, I could really see Ryan Garcia at lightweight, or 140 pounds if it went that worse, somewhere to catch weight, having the financial backing that he does with Golden Boy Promotions and the promotional stuff. I could see him being the guy that ends Lomachenko, kind of like a Oscar De La Hoya versus Julio Cesar Chavez Sr. type of situation. But Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis, in about 3 years, that could really be a terrific fight. But if Gervonta Davis lacks discipline, if he doesn't get his career and to get his mind set on getting better every day, then he might have trouble in that fight a couple years from now. And you also have Devin Haney who's moving up there. So Gervonta Davis, the class of people around Gervonta Davis, that group of fighters, they could all fight each other, and where the winner comes out and kind of elevates the other, is looking to me like it's forming around Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Gervonta Davis, and some. I think Tevin Farmer might be a little older, but I'm sure there's going to be some other guys in there. But seeing as that's the case, for the future of Gervonta Davis, This move, this training camp, if he can get that right, that puts him in a situation where he can dominate those guys. Except, well, Devin Haney, I think might be a little too big, but it'll be fun to see, and we'll see how that plays out. But it is what it is, and I'm out. Peace.